Now, ideal indications of meniscal repair. Meniscal repair is an advanced technology which can do a lot to prevent your knee from developing osteoarthritis, from developing chondral lesions, from developing damage to the cartilage. But all the meniscus that we see are not repairable. Now, in this particular talk, we will be seeing that what are the ideal indications in which we can consider a meniscal repair and which will give you a good result. Now, why we want to do a meniscal repair? A meniscal repair is done to restore the function, to minimize the load transmission, to minimize the contact stress. It contributes to stability and it has a chondroprotective role. So, as far as the meniscectomy versus repair is concerned, it's a very important decision, and the factors which play a role are location, the type, the etiology, any concomitant injuries, and the patient profile. The first and the foremost factor which affects is the TL location. The healing rate varies from within the periphery. If it is within 2 millimeters of periphery, the healing rates are close to 90%, that is very good. Within 3 millimeters, it is 74%, and within 5 millimeters, it is around 50%, as per the article by Cannon. So, red zone are always a good indications for repair. Now, red-white zone are a doubtful thing. So, there is a systematic review in 2015 by Westing and Noyes with a mean follow-up of 4 years. They followed up 767 cases of meniscal repair in the red-white zone, and they are around 78% of these cases were done along with an ACL reconstruction, and the mean age of patient was 25 years, and they showed that around 83% of those repair healed clinically. Now, the second factor which affects is the tear type. The meniscus tears can be horizontal tears, radial tears, vertical tears, bucket header, and flap kind of a tears. Now, we'll go one by one. Horizontal tears are due to variable stress fracture between the superior and inferior margins, and which is usually due to earlier degeneration. And these tears are commonly associated with meniscal cyst formation that may communicate with the periphery. Now, the standard and the historical treatment for these cases were partial meniscectomy. Nowadays, we are doing a repair of these cases, and if needed, we'll just remove a partial trim or a rim of these meniscus, and then we'll reduce these tears and repair it from superior to inferior, and this will prevent the closure of the slit between the two lamina and will give you a very good long-term result. So now in these scenarios, the latest advancement is you should even try repairing the horizontal tears in a superior-inferior fashion. Now, vertical tear is the most commonly repaired tear. It is classically located within 2 millimeters of periphery, and if it is less than 2 centimeters, it is the best tear which can be repaired. Radial tear are more common in lateral meniscus, and these are more common after an acute ACL rupture. If they are occupying less than 90% of the meniscus, you can still do a partial meniscectomy, but most of these tears, if they are complete and if they are reaching to the periphery, they must be treated with the repair. Nowadays, with advancement of meniscal repair techniques, we are repairing more and more radial tears, and these repair we are doing in a side-to-side fashion. There are two kinds of devices which are available. There is a spectrum device which can take continuous kind of a sutures, or we can use a standard all-inside devices to kind of interruptedly close the radial tear. Now, bucket handle tear, again, the best indication is a repair, specifically in a red zone and the red-white zone. If there is a bucket handle tear in a white zone, and if the tear is chronic and degenerative, you may consider doing a partial meniscectomy. Although in this particular era, we don't recommend meniscectomy. That is, the meniscectomy is considered only when we feel that the tear is not amenable to a good repair arthroscopically. Now, meniscal root tear, if it is acute and if the joint is healthy, you must think of a meniscal root repair. Occasionally, older patients with more than 50, degenerative changes, malalignment, obese, occasionally your repairs may not be successful. Still, as per the latest guidelines, all meniscal root repairs need to be repaired if the cartilage surface and the joint is pristine with a good alignment. So, in an ACL intact knee, a medial meniscus tear is more common than the lateral meniscus. These are more commonly degenerative and usually they have a lack of good quality of meniscal tissue in these cases. There is a less success of repair in an ACL intact knee. A root avulsion or a posterior horn detachment in an early degenerative have a low propensity for spontaneously healing than the lateral. So all these patients with the posterior root tear or the posterior horn tear within 1 centimeter of the root needs to be repaired, and that will give you a more long lasting or more age that will prolong the life of your knee. The degenerative tear with a radial component shows much more extrusion than degenerative tear without a radial component. So that's why we say that meniscus root tear also include those portion of tears which are within 1 centimeter of the root in the posterior horn. So the presence of radial component and severity of osteoarthritis are usually predictive of the extrusion, and meniscal extrusion is a poor prognostic factor. And we usually recommend a pull-out suture technique in these patients. Now, as far as the lateral meniscus is concerned, it has a very different tibial anchoring mechanism than medial meniscus. The lateral meniscus is a circular as compared to a medial meniscus, which is a hemispherical kind of or it is like a half circle, whereas the lateral meniscus is full circle. The lateral meniscus is more mobile. It can lead to a displaced bucket handle tear when a violent torsional stresses are applied, and these patients will usually present when they try to stand up from a sitting position with a leg crossed or a knee in a figure of 4 position. Now, radial tear is another acute pattern in lateral meniscus. It is usually seen in mid-third, and it can be due to a valgus injury or a valgus rotational injury, and it is usually common in a white zone, and if it is in white zone, it is less amenable to repair. If it is extending up to a red zone, you must consider to repair these tears. So overall, they are more non-degenerative tear in the lateral side, and they are usually more amenable to repair. The attachment of the capsule is anterior to the popliteus tendon. In the region of the popliteus tendon, there is no capsular attachment, and that makes the lateral meniscus more mobile. We usually recommend an inside-out suture technique for the anterior horn and all inside suture technique for the posterior horn. It is rare to see a degenerative lateral meniscus tear, and usually it is seen in association with a valgus deformity. Now, as far as the discoid meniscus is concerned, it is more commonly seen in the lateral meniscus, and there is an abnormal shape which leads to a more compression injuries to the joint in the joint. The treatment is usually meniscectomy and stabilization to a normal size of a meniscus. Occasionally, if it is a Griesbach variant or if there is a posterior horn detachment from the posterior root, it may be amenable to repair. And if it is, you think that it is amenable to repair, you must try to do an arthroscopic repair in these cases. If you have a ACL deficient knee, the lateral meniscus is the most commonly torn meniscus in an acute injury. The more common tears are seen in the posterior 1/3. A stable vertical tear can be treated with just trephination, make small puncture hole, and that will lead to healing vessels. And if the tear is extending anterior to the popliteus and the fragment is displaced, better to repair with the inside-out technique or an outside-in technique. And if it is a posterior kind of a fragment, you can repair it with an all-inside devices. If, as far as the ACL deficient knee medial meniscus is concerned, it is more commonly seen in chronic cases, and it is usually seen in a junction of posterior and middle third. Very small tears can be treated with trephination, but if the tear has a degenerative component, it may have a horizontal extension, and in those cases the results of repair are not as good. So if it is a vertical and a horizontal component together or a complex variant, then the chances of repair are less. Now, factors that determine healing are tears that are smaller and closer to periphery have the best results. Tears which are large, displaced and complex are less likely to heal. Central third area, which is less vascular, are less likely to heal. Acute tears are usually peripheral, better to be repaired. Degenerative tears are central, less commonly repaired. Buccal head tears, if it is they are displaying the intercondylar notch, in young patient must consider a repair. No controversy on that. Very old patients, you may think of a meniscectomy. If the fragment is not displaced and it is a peripheral vertical tear or a bucket handle tear, you must try to repair it, because you will have a good result. Now this is a small video. This is undersurface vertical tear of the lateral meniscus, and we are repairing it with the AR device. This is an all-inside device. The structure that you see on the posterior aspect is the popliteus tendon, and usually we use this kind of a half pipe, and we use to pass a single, this is a single interrupted kind of a suture network. It is a very small kind of a device which is flipped on the posterior aspect of the capsule. This is the first pass, and when the first pass is done, we take it out, and then we just have to shift the movement of the plug on the external aspect, and then we'll insert it on the inferior lip of the meniscus, and once it is done, we'll just have to pull the fragment, and once it is pulled, the thread is pulled, it is a self-knotting suture. It will slowly close down in a perfect position, and you can see that this vertical tear on the inferior surface has been nicely repaired, and then you just have to cut the suture limb. So very nice meniscal repair has been obtained in a posterior and middle third of lateral meniscus with this technique. Now we can do a meniscus repair, medial meniscus repair also with the same technique, and in this particular technique also we use a half pipe. Half pipe is a very important device because it prevents any toggling of the PEEK implants into the soft tissue. That is number one. Also, it will guide you to a proper direction. As it is malleable, you can actually twist it and turn it to any direction. One very important advantage of this AR device is it can be malleable. It's a malleable device, and it can be molded in any direction. So it can be molded up or down as needed in a particular position to actually make a good trajectory to the meniscus. So in this particular case, we are inserting our anchor. This is again a peripheral tear, a vertical tear on the undersurface. We are inserting the first anchor, which is inserted, the PEEK anchor, which is inserted on the outside of the meniscus. It is flipped, and then we'll insert the second anchor. We'll just log on, we'll just use a trigger. There's a trigger out there, and we have to load the trigger back again. The trigger will actually move the other second PEEK implant in the front, and as it is an actively deploying device, usually deployment is not a problem. Once both of your PEEK implants are deployed, you just have to take the implant out like this, and then you have to pull the suture nicely to actually reduce the two limbs of the meniscus nicely, and then you can insert your cutter to actually cut the suture at the desired place. So this which shows a very nicely healed or nice repair of the inferior surface of the medial meniscus. Now there is this is called as a last score, and it's a score in which you can predict the failure rate of a meniscal repair. So the first important thing is location, and you give points to that, and we give a point to a less location, a 0 point, and more location 2 points. The age is one of the criteria, the size of the meniscal tear is one of the criteria, and the tissue quality is one of the criteria. And there are 4 qualifiers. If the knee is unstable, you give 2 points. If there is a malalignment, you give 1 point. If there is a grade 3 chondromalacia, you give 1 point. If there is a radial tear, you give 2 points. If you are doing a ACL reconstruction or inserting a fibrin clot, you can deduct or decrease 1 out of this total score, and usually higher scores are associated with a higher failure rate. So conclusion, when to do a repair, specifically indicated for an acute tear which has a less deformity, peripheral tear, unstable tear holding more than 1.5 of the meniscus. If it is subluxating under the condyle, patient is a young patient in a stable knee profile, these are the best patients in which you should try to do a repair. The repair indications are expanding day by day due to availability of a proper technique, but you should avoid repair in very restricted circumstances like a chronic complex kind of a tear, degenerative tear, unstable knees in which your repairs are more likely to be failed, grade 4 osteochondral defect in which the pain will persist even after a good repair, old age, and the patients with malalignment, specifically the varus malalignment. These are the patients who will do bad with the repair and can lead to re-tears. So you should be careful, but I'll motivate most of my young orthopedic surgeons to consider meniscal repair in more and more cases owing to the development. We also have one more video regarding meniscal repair in which we have focused on types of meniscal repair and how to do meniscal repair. We have another video, meniscal root repair video, which I'll recommend all of you to see. If you have any more questions relating to this particular topic, you can definitely mail to us in the comment box. Thanks a lot for viewing. Thank you.